Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Real. It's Slayer Sunday, where I will be talking about and reviewing all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in order. Today I'm looking at Season 2, Episode 18, Killed by Death. We begin the episode with an ill Buffy staggering her way through the graveyard, until she almost stakes Willow, Xander and Cordelia, who are out patrolling to try and help. Buffy says she's fine, but Xander points out that in her current state, she's no match for Angel. Speak of the devil, Angel pops up out of nowhere and attacks Cordelia, so Buffy tries to fight him, and Jesus, how comically oversized does this gravestone need to be? Buffy is distracted by her flu, and I'm distracted by this obvious stunt double and the fact that no one is helping! Finally, thank you, what took you guys so long? Buffy tells them to leave, passes out, and into the credits we go. The trio take her to the hospital where she's wheeled away, and not only does Xander's collection of ugly knitwear continue, but Cordelia seems to have been sorted into Slytherin. Giles and Joyce show up, and the doctor says she's gonna be fine, but she'll need to be kept in for a few days. Buffy freaks out and starts shouting about vampires, so she's sedated and taken away. Joyce explains that Buffy hates hospitals because she was the only witness to her cousin Celia dying in one when she was 8. Joyce thanks Giles for always watching out for Buffy,
always watching,
and says she's sorry about Jenny, while Willow and Xander worry that Angel could just walk right in, what with it being a public building and all. Buffy wakes up in the early AM and gah! I wish this kid was the creepiest part of this episode, but nope. Jesus fucking Christ, that scares me every time! Buffy gets up and wanders the halls, getting flashbacks to when she was 8, but wakes up back in bed, so she gets up again. She passes a green-tinted room where she's spied on by a security guard played by Willie Garson, who I know from that furry episode of CSI. As she approaches a room, the body of a child is wheeled out past her, and as she peeks into the room, she overhears 2 doctors arguing over how best to treat the room full of kids. Well, almost full, because 2 kids pop up behind Buffy. They say that there's something the grown-ups can't see that killed Tina, that body that was just wheeled by, and say that he will come for them too. Angel wanders into the hospital and Xander bravely stands up to him. Angel says he couldn't stop him if he wanted to go into Buffy's room, and Xander agrees, but points out that all the guards and police that are there would give it a damn good go. Angel gets all up in his face, but Xander isn't intimidated.
You're gonna die. And I'm gonna be there.
We get a cute flashback of Buffy and her cousin playing, followed by one of her in Celia's hospital room. Buffy wakes up feeling better, but the doctor won't let her go, and she asks if the kids have the same illness. However, they're interrupted by a visit from Giles and the Scoobies. Xander presents her with balloons, and Willow with completed homework, but the 10th annual ugly knitwear contest seems to be in full swing again. Outside, Buffy tells the others what she saw and explains about some experimental treatment the doctor is trying on the kids. Even though Cordelia thinks Buffy is making up a monster to deal with the trauma of Celia's death, she and Xander break into the records room, but she's caught by security. Giles admits to Willow that he thinks that Cordelia is right about Buffy making it up, but Willow points out that they are on the Hellmouth after all. Giles then thinks that perhaps what the kids can see is a representation of the true face of a regular person, a la Billy and the Ugly Man in Nightmares, and Willow suggests they look up the weird doctor. Cordelia flirts with the security guard and tries to get information out of him about the girl that died, but Xander makes a noise and has to creep out. Xander is pissed that Cordelia was flirting so much, and she's pissed at him because he wants to stay to protect Buffy. Why is relationship? Buffy wanders back into the kids' room where this kid Ryan is drawing a picture of the creepy dude she saw when she was delirious. Ryan says he's going to come back, and Buffy says she'll protect him, but he's doubtful.
Can't fight death.
Meanwhile, Willow and Giles uncover a long list of offences committed by the Doctor.
Just wish I knew what he was doing to these children.
The Doctor and his really squeaky shoes goes for a walk, but Ninja Buffy! And also, what is with all these green lights? He goes into the kids' room and injects an IV with something, only to hear a creepy laugh, and no, can I turn this episode off now before it gets even worse? An invisible thing grabs him and slashes his chest, and are we sure this isn't Freddy Krueger? Poor Ryan has to watch this dude die, and he's thrown out of the room past Buffy and dragged down the hall. When the gang come back to visit, Buffy gives Giles Ryan's picture and tells him the doctor is dead, and then Joyce comes in to tell her she can go home, but Buffy fakes her symptoms so she can stay and fight whatever it is. Giles and Cordelia go off to research while Buffy and Willow break into the dead doctor's office where they discover that he was actually doing good. You know, despite the aforementioned long list of offences. Cordelia stresses Giles out with her no end of questions, but she does manage to find the demon and calls Buffy. She reports that it's called Der Kinderstod, meaning child death, and it kills by sucking the life out of its victims, which is creepy, gross, and did I mention creepy? Buffy thinks the doctor was killed because he was curing the kids and therefore cutting off Der Kinderstod's food supply, and when Giles describes how it kills people, Buffy realises that that is exactly what killed her cousin. Buffy freaks out because she can't fight this thing if it's invisible and decides to reinfect herself so she'll be able to see it. Buffy insta regrets her life choices. When they get to the kids' room, they find it empty because they're all on the run, and Buffy's shiny new fever allows her to see this horrifying monstrosity portrayed by James Jude Courtney, the 6'3" actor who played Michael Myers in the most recent Halloween movies. We even get a kind of Halloween H2O shot of Buffy being freaked out by it. He heads into the basement, although why is the basement access inside the kids' room? But anyway, the doctor catches Buffy out of bed and has to call security when she shoves her. Willow causes a distraction so Buffy can run to Xander for help, and apparently Der Kinderstod isn't inspired by Freddy Krueger, but I'm getting very much Freddy Krueger vibes. The kids try to hide, but Ryan is caught, and I'm sure everything will be fine. Oh my god, what the absolute fuck is that? It's not enough that it has the hat, and the teeth, and the finger claws. Oh no, let me just suck the life out of you with my fucking octopus eye stalk bullshit. Buffy clonks it with a pretty poor one-liner.
You make me sick.
And Xander takes Ryan and the rest of the kids to safety. Buffy gets into a fight with Der Kinderstod, and we also get Xander's perspective, which is really cool. The demon tries to eyeball her, but she breaks its neck and, oh, it's over. Back at home, Joyce waits on Buffy as she recovers. And Willow. And Xander. Oh, and Buffy gets a picture from Ryan. Okay, so that was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Der Kinderstod is right up there as one of the most terrifying creatures in the Buffyverse, even though in the grand scheme of things he doesn't actually feature much in the episode. He first appears around the 9-minute mark, and the jump scare is so perfectly crafted that you're on edge the whole time, despite his next appearance not being for another 25 minutes. It may not be intentional, but the whole episode is very A Nightmare on Elm Street, which makes Der Kinderstod not hugely original, except for the eye tentacles. That's new. But the creep factor and suspense is crafted so well that you kind of forgive it. I'm not really sure how necessary the Celia subplot was, but maybe I'm biased because I really don't like flashbacks. But my biggest gripe I have with this episode is how suddenly Der Kinderstod died. I honestly thought Xander was going to kill it because his whole arc in this episode was how he would protect Buffy no matter what, even if it cost him his life with Angel or his relationship with Cordelia. The different perspectives during the lead-up fight would have been a great setup to Xander being Buffy's ultimate protector and being able to kill the threat without being able to see it. This episode was set up like a horror movie, which I appreciated being a fan of the genre, but I feel like it could have been tightened up by cutting out the filler like the security guard who didn't add anything, and instead used the time to flesh out the final battle, which as I said was a bit anticlimactic. We have 4 more deaths for our count. 3 humans who were all killed rather horrifically by Der Kinderstod, this little girl Tina, Dr. Backer, who was a good guy even though he was a dirtbag, and poor Celia, who we don't actually see die, but we see the lead up and we know it happens. We also have 1 demon death, Der Kinderstod himself, who was killed rather abruptly by Buffy, which brings our running total to 18 humans, 4 transformations, 28 vampires, 1 zombie, 1 mummy, 4 demons, and 1 monster. So there you have it, that was Killed by Death. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot. Or consider subscribing if you want more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and don't let the vampires bite.